Parents who tried their best to raise their kids to be good humans, but they turned out to be jerks. What do you wish you did differently? I'm speaking as a teacher, but I've seen wildly different siblings. I think parents need to get a handle on that dynamic. A lot of perfectionist older siblings and younger ones who can't achieve at that level and act out instead to find how they can earn attention. The mom of one of the Columbine shooters gave a TED talk about this. Be very careful who you have kids with. If I could do it all over again, I would have chosen better. They ended up with one responsible parent who was completely overwhelmed trying to do the job of two people. I wish I knew that some grandparents shouldn't be allowed to have a relationship with a vulnerable, easily manipulated child. I wish I knew it was okay to cut people out of your life. Generally speaking, if you try to teach your kids something and not be the example, you might as well not have wasted your time. Not me, but my parents have discussed what they wished they had done differently for my brother in order to prevent him from becoming a violent, homeless, drug-addicted snotball of a person. They wish they had sent him to therapy before problems ever started, and that they had reacted quicker and sent him sooner when they did. They wish they hadn't yelled so much at all of us. That they had been more patient and forgiving of our mistakes. They wish a lot. One of the saddest things I've ever read is about Elliot Rodger's parents. I'm sure they made mistakes, but they saw it coming. He, Elliot's father, recalls with a twinge of regret the what could have been moment when Elliot's alarmed mother called police on her son, but they left after Elliot convinced them that his online rantings were harmless. At that point Elliot had already purchased 3 guns and had been practicing at a firing range in preparation for his retribution. IRC, his parents sent him to therapy for years, but they couldn't force him to go once he turned 18. It seems like they tried everything they could, and their son still ended up being a mass murderer. I have one child, the youngest, who I'm starting to worry about. He's tall, athletic, attractive and very charismatic. I feel like it's a constant battle between teaching him respect and humility and the worship he gets at school. At his age, he's not prepared to deal with all these peers who want his attention, tell him how great he is, and the girls lining up to talk to him. Yeah, don't we all wish we had this problem as teens? Anyway, it's a struggle. He's gotten cocky and thinks life will just keep on treating him like a king. And maybe it will. He's got the type of personality that makes people want him around. But he needs to treat others with the same respect he expects for himself. Confidence is good, but it needs to be combined with kindness. Our other children are very level-headed and what we feel are good people. I hope we get to properly tech this to our youngest and that he takes it to heart and chooses to be a good person. We wanted our kids to be happy, so I think we coddled and spoiled them. They aren't ready to function independently in the adult world. In retrospect, I think learning some hard lessons growing up helps prepare them and is less damaging than learning those lessons as adults. Get it, to clarify, they aren't jerks, just not ready to be adults. Ugh. We talked to our son about everything under the sun. We had an open forum. We talked extensively about money management, sexuality, dating, how to treat other people, drug use, alcoholism and its consequences. He and I also watched a ton of documentaries together on all of the above topics. I have a thing for shows like Underground Inc., Drugs Inc., Broken, and mini-series like Dopesick. Once he turned 18 he began to do literally everything we advised against. It's been a hard few years. After losing his GF, losing his job and spending some time in jail, I think he's starting to listen. He's been doing a very good job lately. We love him and we support him, despite how hard it's been. I feel bad even typing this. It's really tough to look back and legitimately say what could have been done differently. What I can say to coming parents is don't give up on your kid, do the best you can, you can't control everything. My parents are imperfect, but they did a lot of things right. The biggest one that sticks out to me is that they're supportive of things my brother and I like even when they don't understand or like it. They didn't really care for skateboarding, but they spent hundreds of dollars over the years for my brother to enjoy his hobby. They not only helped me get a drum set, but allowed the band to hold practice in our basement and drove us to all our shows. They wanted me to be a lawyer, but they were willing to settle for line cook. It made a difference in the long run, because eventually it helped me realize that I get to make my own choices in life, nothing is laid out for me. I can do whatever I enjoy, and my parents will be there for me, cheering me on. Currently pregnant and acutely scanning this thread to take note of what not to do. Lots of great answers here. The idea of tried their best is so subjective. Every circumstance is so different. You get the full spectrum of what trying is defined as. Some parents say how hard they work and how good of a parent they were, but then you find out they were abusive thinking that it was good parenting. Or vice versa. Parents who say they failed and their kids are all good kids. Bottom line, with so many factors and external variables, it's hard to know what the true formula is. My only advice is to try and be a good human, and your kids will most likely follow suit. A lot. I wish I'd insisted on eating dinner as a family every day. I wish I'd found more things to do with them that we each enjoyed. I wish I'd taken them backpacking more often at an earlier age, to expose them to nature, unplug them from the world, and teach them how good it feels to tackle a big challenge with no external help. I wish I'd been more patient and playful. In my experience, most jerk kids come from jerk parents. That being said, kids can easily become jerks when they have no consequences for their actions. Not just as a toddler, but throughout childhood. They say everyone makes the best decision at the time. The path to forgiveness. If I look back at raising my M23F21 kids, I think I would have been less harsh on mistakes and rule breaking. All it did was encourage subversion and distrust. Good luck. I doubt you're going to get good faith answers from parents on this. My parents would tell you, well, my dad died a few years ago, but he believed this when he was alive, that I turned out terribly. I'm married to a guy I love, raising kids who are reasonably well adjusted, and doing a job I like, living in a nice house with friends and hobbies I love. They don't like the way I dress, don't like the way I wear my hair, don't like my friends, don't like the denomination of synagogue I go to, don't like my career path, and are angry that I'm fat and don't dye my hair. My dad was particularly put out by the fact that my son has long hair and my daughter likes cosplay. Also, they'll say they did a perfect job at raising me, and I'm just a failure. There's a difference between being nice and being a pushover. Nice people raise nice kids. Pushover raise spoiled kids. Classic, not a parent but, thing here but, as someone whose sister was a complete bitch that was always given the benefit of the doubt even when she was clearly wrong, this is because my parents wanted to be fair to her, resulting in them being unfair to me. I just wish they went a little harder on her. Whenever she did something, they'd just tell her not to do it, and she'd do it again the very next day, while if I did something similar, and then the next day did it again, I'd get screamed at for half an hour. Because of this, she just got away with anything, and whenever I told my parents that she keeps doing it because they were going too easy on her, they'd just get mad at me.